Bullseye. Yes, Hickok 45, your internet shooting companion, coming to you from the Green Hills, finally, of Tennessee, home of Alvin York. Yes, proud to be here. Glad you're here. Glad you came out. Watch out for ticks. It is spring now. Everything's growing and blooming, as you can tell. You can probably see an improvement over last week. That is my guess. I do. I've been out of town and I see a difference, quite a difference since I left, because I went north and it was similar to, I don't know, it was, spring, but it wasn't bloomed out. Excuse me. Gonna have allergies today a little bit. It was not this advanced up in northern Kentucky and Ohio, but it was graining up, of course. I don't suffer too badly from allergies. Sometimes though, out messing around, getting my hands on my hands, the pollen, and in my mouth and breathing, and in intensity like this, it'll get to me a little bit, but not like John and some other people who really suffer from that. Gets me worse. The worst, I guess, is when I'm mowing or bush hogging. Got the tractor going, and if I'm doing a fair amount of mowing, bush hogging with that thing, it stirs up all the pollen, of course, and as well as the dust and all that combined, and I'll get a little, I don't know, a little bit of an allergic reaction, but not too much. I know you were worried about that. Glad you're here, and yes, I'm glad to be back too. And like I said, I'll be back before you miss me, right? And I was in North Kentucky visiting relatives and friends, and then I went up into, mainly the trip was, so I go up to Columbus, Ohio, those of you who live in that area, and was on the LEPD Firearms radio show, okay, the gun shop there in Columbus. Really nice gun shop, great people, and they have a radio show every Saturday at noon, and that's on a local talk station up there, I think. I don't recall the station. And I stopped in there several years back when I was up in Columbus to speak at a Second Amendment rally. And I'd not been in, didn't know anybody, but I went in and shopped around, got to know those folks, really good people. And we just sort of stayed in touch since then. I check in with them occasionally, call into the radio show occasionally after a SHOT Show or whatever, if I know anything. But that was fun, seeing everybody and up there. And I don't get up into Ohio really that often. I get into northern Kentucky pretty often. So it's great to get up there, and maybe some of y'all, met a lot of you, at the gun shop, of course. Great to meet you. And on the trip, a Shell station, the fellow I ran into there in Ohio, and Red Lobster back in Florence, Kentucky, just around. So it's always good to run into you folks. I appreciate you watching and saying hi. What else was I going to say? All kinds of things. What do I have? I have a 9mm. And now you may not at first glance have guessed what this thing is. Yeah, because really most of them are not in the, I guess, is it Cerakote? I think it's just, no, I don't think this was Cerakote on these originals. This is a Glock 48, okay? Just spell with the suspense, Glock 48, 9mm. It's kind of the profile of the Glock 19, but it's thinner, okay? And came with a 10-round magazine. Since then, aftermarket companies have made other magazines for them, but the early ones, yeah, I think it was maybe from the very first batch, they were like this. This is a very early one. I bought one really early on, and we have a video on it, on this gun. I don't think we've ever done a chapter 2 really, but this is it. And I think maybe they were all or most of them were in this aluminum finish. Okay, whatever it is. I don't even remember. But since they're just typical Glocks, so I don't think you can find them like this anymore. Ooh, this might be really valuable for that finish. But I've always kind of liked it, but I've neglected it. In fact, we did a video recently, that's why I have it still dirty, about that topic. You know, why it is that I don't like this gun or something, because I've had it all this time and I just don't shoot it much, and I neglect it, and I'm not sure why. Because I have seen people talk about the Glock 48 very fondly. Yeah, they really speak fondly of the thing and carry it, and it's a really favorite firearm of theirs, yours, whoever. And what do? I've got one and I ignore it. So I don't know. I've tried to get it out here and shoot it and see what it is about it. That's the problem. This is one of the Shield Arms mags, early one, with some hollow point. I'm just gonna go ahead and shoot them, holler points. Okay, it's been loaded for forever. So let's take a couple shots with it. But that's what this is. Yeah, Glock 48. What do you think, Clyde? Does it feel like a Glock 48? He said yes, feels just like one. I think I missed the gong in the intro. That hit it because I saw it move, but I didn't hear it. Yeah, I heard that one. Okay, nice little pistol. Don't you think, cowboy? I'm having to shoot around that orange 2-liter. Let's quit shooting around it and shoot through it. There we go. Did I hear it on the gong? I don't know if it went through or not. There was a hollow point. It might not have. It might have expanded and not gone through. Who knows? What about you, piggy? Alright, wore him out. I don't know how many shots I just fired, but these hold 15. So, nifty little gun. I see why people like it. Not sure why I have neglected it. But I made a point to get it out. We did a little short video with it a week or two ago, and I didn't clean it because I'm going to shoot that on a Sunday. I want to shoot it some more. And who knows, it might become my favorite packing around firearm. You just never know about me. You really don't. But yeah, it was good to get up into Kentucky and Ohio. Great gun job. LEPD Firearms in Columbus, Ohio, a little north of Columbus. What's the exact little community? Worthington or something, you know, up there. But anyway, it's good to get up there. And like I say, I was out, so I was early. And I'm early this week because when you are watching this, I will have been to the NRA, kind of a similar situation. I will have been down there and have met a lot of you at the meeting, okay, when you see this. I don't know who you're going to be. I don't know who I'm going to meet yet because I haven't met you yet. But by the time you're watching me, you will know, but I won't. Yeah, kind of weird, isn't it, how this video stuff works? Yeah, it's delayed. Speaking of the NRA, yeah, again, it is. Doesn't mean you're. I did a little short reminding people that I'd be there. And again, it's so funny. It brings out all the mall ninjas, as I call them sometimes. I think there are probably forums somewhere, or maybe videos, I don't know, that are dedicated to probably trashing anything that you're not supposed to like if you're in the firearms community. And of course, one of those would be the NRA because of their past shenanigans, right? But I mean, it's just funny, you know, just anybody goes, that's a FUD and all that kind of stuff, you know. But yeah, I just chalk that up to Mr. Mall Ninja, glad you're on the internet, enjoy the videos, you know. But anyway, you have not a lot of credibility. Again, not that the NRA is innocent, that's for sure. So we'll see how they do in the future. Uh, what else? What else? Well, I got another firearm out here. I thought I'd mix it up again. You know, a little semi-automatic activity with something else I have not fired enough. Bingo! Sharps rifle. Yep, this is the one I got in Las Vegas. I had it out, I don't know, a couple of months ago, I guess, but I don't care. I wanted to shoot it again. I wanted to fire this thing. Let's see, how many does it hold? Oh yeah, one. Make sure she's clear. I hadn't even, yeah, I just got it out, took it out of the sock. That's a pretty piece of wood. Yeah. I don't think it's extra fancy or anything, but it's just got a nice grain. Nothing like walnut. I mean, walnut, it's just almost any piece of walnut tells you all you need to know. It's going to be pretty nice, probably have a nice grain, it'll look good, make a nice piece of furniture. And then it goes up from there if you've got a piece that's especially attractive, you know. But I mean, walnut, just baseline, is usually nice wood, nice grain. That's my opinion, anyway. And my opinion is this thing needs to be fired. Let's put a bullet in it. I think this is a Steinel here. I was firing some, what's that, Fiocchi and Underwood through that 9mm. Yeah, let's shoot this thing. You know, I probably shouldn't be so mean to Clyde, but I'm going to be. All right. At least try to be. If I'm mean to him, I'm not being, if I miss him, I'm not being mean to him. Oh, by the way, I don't know, it was a video we did recently, maybe it was even Sunday. I've seen several comments admonishing me, educating me about how you've got to cock the hammer to have cock before you drop the bolt and all that. Well, I don't think I've not done that before. The thing is, and that's true, you want to pull it to half cock before you open it up. But see, that's what you do. It's just like right there. It's not like halfway back, and so you don't see it really. And before you bring it back to protect the firing pin and everything. Okay. So I thought I had another bullet there handy. I do, in my pocket. So you know, I just like to educate people best I can. Since I ain't very educated, I like to at least throw what little education I have at other people. And let's put one way out there on Mr. Gong. I'm using a set trigger, so I gotta be careful. Boom. Careful not to let it off too early is what I was gonna say. I just realized I didn't bring my extender. That's okay. It's not too bad. It's not too bad without the extender. Some firearms are almost unshootable for me. They're no fun if they are shootable. Yeah. This one I can get by with. Let me go ahead and put it on that first notch, get that shell out of there. Oh, look at all that smoke. Oh, you missed it. Maybe the next time. Oh man. Yeah, I hope to see a lot of you at the, well, I know I will, at the NRA meeting down there. And hope you came by Silencer Central or SDI, or just anywhere you saw my ugly face and said hi. And I hope you had a great time seeing all the goodies and all the new firearms and all the old firearms that all the various companies have there on display that you might not have seen yet. I run across various models and makes just all the time that I was not aware of. And I'll make notes. I keep a notepad. I'll just make a note on something you might want to get a hold of. Take a picture of it, of the tag or whatever, just to, oh, okay, so I don't forget that. Because there's just so many guns from, you could just come, one company, you know, whoever, Mossberg or Smith & Wesson or just anybody, Colt, and you could cruise through there and find 3 or 4 models probably, even if you sort of keep up with things that you were not aware of, or you just, you know, weren't aware they offered it in a certain barrel length or just whatever that might be. Something would be news to you probably. A lot of it's news to me. So I enjoy it, but I also try to use it as an educational trip. Does that make sense? Yeah, man. Oh, speaking of nothing, but it seems like in the last couple of months I've done a few things with revolvers, where I've yacked about my little J-frames and different things. I may not only be posted yet, but occasionally I see someone reacting, like when I say something like, because one of the things I like to impress upon people, especially just people like you and me, not cop, well, a lot of you are cops or military, but people who are not cops or not in the military, people who are not going to the trouble. It's not our job to go to the trouble when there's trouble, okay? Unlike a cop or soldier. So regular people, I make comments occasionally how, like a revolver, something like, speaking of that, my little holster and my little revolver, how it's, talking about this is probably all you're going to need, and that kind of thing. All you need, or is all you're probably going to need. You're not going to necessarily need 20 rounds, that kind of thing. You're not going to probably be in some big firefight. You've heard me talk about all that. Well, again, I've had a couple of people tell me I sound like an anti-gunner or something, or someone who would like to restrict magazine capacity. No, far from that. I'm just trying to assuage people's fears sometimes, so that if you're someone who's considering a carry permit or carrying a firearm for the first time, just don't necessarily get all caught up in what G.I. Joe is gearing up with every morning to go to the donut shop or something. 43 magazines and a gigantic blaster that holds 1,000,000 rounds. It's easy to get all caught up in that, right? Because we see the movies, we love the movies, and we get to thinking what could happen. Yeah, well, you play that game and you need an atomic weapon with you, but anyway, that's the vein. You know what I'm talking about. I'm never whenever I say this is probably all you need, I'm not, don't ever want to play into the anti-gunners narrative, like, well, really, you don't need semi-automatics, or you don't need shotguns, or you don't need rifles, or so it's not anywhere near that, of course. Just trying to remind people that you'll probably live through the day, but it's nice having things like AR-15s and semi-automatic shotguns, all that good stuff to enjoy and to have around as protection for the Second Amendment, right? I'm talking about day-to-day protection for our own personal selves and the parking garage and that kind of thing primarily. Okay. All right. Just wanted to mention that. People who don't know me, of course, and that's always the thing with YouTube, right? People who come in, they don't know you, or they've just seen one video. Who knows what they might think from one video like this one. And speaking of people who help us, I want to thank Silencer Central for their support of the channel. Great little mufflers, and you've been seeing a lot of them lately. And then Davidson's Gallery Guns, where you get a guaranteed lifetime replacement on every firearm purchased. So keep them in mind. And then SDI, the Sonoran Desert Institute. Get yourself some learning on firearms technology, all kinds of things. You could get on the road to becoming a gunsmith if you wanted to. So probably saw quite a few of you at their booth this week. Yeah. And then while I'm getting out of here, how about Alabama Holster? I just pulled out. Make these great little pocket holsters. They make great belt holsters, purse holsters, phone holsters. Got a phone holster on. I mean, it's just always on my belt, and really appreciate their support. All right, what do you want me to shoot next? How about this thing? I need to put a little ammo in a magazine. I'll shoot this pistol again. Any of you have I didn't bring a bunch of mags. I've got a few more. Anybody have one of these Glock 48s? What do you think of it? I think people who carry appendix like them. Allergy. And, excuse me. And, I think they're actually pretty popular, just like the 43X. Well, that reminds me too, I was early last week, just like I am this week. I didn't even think about it being Easter, like days down the road. I do that sometimes if I'm doing one early in the week. Since I'm not on that day, I kind of forget what that day might be a special day. So anyway, happy Easter to those belated happy Easter from last week. So here we go. We'll shoot this thing a little more. Yeah, this is one of those Shield Arms mags. It's worked okay so far. All right. Glock 48 with Talon grips on it. And Ballistol in the works. Uh-oh, didn't like that. What did I do? Did I? Oh well, leave that round out. All right, thought maybe I didn't have the mag in there seated. And it must have been it. Pretty good. Yeah, went around the tree on that one. I see why y'all like these. They're pretty nice pistols. Pretty nice pistols. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Oh, speaking of videos, the M1 carbine video we did recently about why does this get so much hate, you know, talked about, well, I think I mentioned last week that the hate comes from, I don't know, weird sources sometimes. Most people like the M1 carbine. Most soldiers loved it and all that. I keep having to qualify that, right? But there are people who, you know, maintain it was used in frontline activity and had some limitations, all that kind of thing. Probably legitimate, but it wasn't meant to be an M1 Garand, as we pointed out. But actually, much more effective than people give it credit for. But I've seen a few comments about how it's gotten so expensive is the biggest problem with it, you know. And I've seen some people blaming old people, boomers, FUDs, whatever, collecting them. I saw someone said that they'd be a nice gun if all the old FUDs hadn't bought them up and think they're worth $2,000, so other people could have them, or something like that, you know. And I thought, oh, really? Okay. Hey, again, I keep having to give economics lessons, right? Common sense lessons. Things are only worth what people will pay for them. And if people collect them up and don't want to sell them, more power to them. There are things I've looked for, like German Mausers. Those things have been collected up. My gosh, I've been to some big gun shows and actually been looking for one, or a nice one, or whatever, and not a one anywhere. It just never occurred to me, though. I could have been blaming those old FUDs that had collected them up. It's their fault. They're the ones who are the reason they're not available, and they're also the reason they're so expensive. It's their fault, not mine. You know, so I could have been blaming people for things like that my entire life. You know, the reason I can't, whatever, get the job I want, the girl I want, the car I want, or anything. It's somebody else's fault. Yeah, someone's collected them up. I've heard that about housing too. It's the boomers. They won't let go of their houses. That's why there's a housing crisis and no one can find a house and reasonably priced. The boomers keep hanging on to them or whatever. Okay. Let's force people to sell things they don't want to sell. How's that? And we're going to come around and check on you, Mr. 30-year-old or whatever your age is. When you buy that dream house or that house that you finally find that house you like, we're going to come back to you when you're 50 or 60 or whatever age we choose, make you sell that thing. Yeah, you're just hanging on to it to keep it away from those people or whatever. You know, people just have a weird view of things, right? I don't, of course. My views are always really intelligent, don't you think? So anyway, let's shoot. What do you want me to shoot? How about this baby again? How about this beauty? This is pretty nice. I'm a lucky dude to be able to fire one of these things, I will admit. And I forgot to put my ears on. You want to pop a 2-liter with this thing? Let's do it. 405 grains of lead. And I'm sorry, Clyde, but 405 grains are going to come screaming at you right now. Yeah. That's what you get for standing over there in the woods, you know, like you have nothing to do. Yeah, it's your own fault. It's your own fault. Again, the Sharps Model 1874, if you're brand new for some reason, it's 4570 chambering, and it's the Sporter 1 model. It's got the half barrel. It's called what's called half barrel because half of it's octagonal and half of it's round, and all of it's round inside, I have a feeling. So pretty neat. And this is German silver. I think I call it pewter. Is there a difference? Pewter, German silver. But I like that. It's a nice touch. Other than that, it's not particularly fancy or anything, but I like that and the walnut. Yeah. If I were a deer hunter, I wouldn't want to take a deer with an ugly gun, would you? You might have done that. Is that proper etiquette to get a deer with an ugly gun? All right. Let's try the gong again. Yeah, sweet. Nothing like chunking big chunks of lead. Oh boy. Well, just so I don't keep y'all too late, do I have any advice for young people? I guess I've given some advice for young people, maybe about, I don't know, maybe about not blaming other people so much. I don't know, I see so much of that, and I just wonder, what's wrong with me? There are so many times in my life where things haven't gone the way I wanted, or I couldn't have what I wanted, and like thousands maybe. And I didn't really come up with anybody to blame it on. I don't know, what about you? You know, if you're anywhere in the vicinity of my age, as you came through, were you constantly blaming everything on, I don't know, other people older than you, younger than you, or whatever you could blame it on, just to keep from blaming it on yourself? I'm afraid I was the one at fault for about any of my misfortunes. Not everything, but you know, I don't know. Different world. So that's enough advice. I'm not going to go enough. I've got some more. I've always got lots of advice. I'll save it for next week. I want to shoot this some more. Can I? Yeah. Again, I hope I saw you. I hope I didn't say anything mean to you. Okay, at the NRA meeting. I have a tendency to do that, to just be mean to people. You know, I told you all that. That's still funny. Speaking of the public or people, like 99.99% of people in the firearms community that I've met, you know, they're just good folks, right? But it is funny when you get, and that's why you kind of remember it, because it's so unusual. But yeah, there have been a couple of trolls over the years that just like made up stories and things. You just wonder how somebody gets, I don't know, so dissatisfied with themselves, or so envious, or whatever it is, that they I don't know, they just come after somebody. It seems like they have a better life than they have, maybe. I don't know. It's kind of sad. My life hadn't been perfect, but I just have never really thought about being mad or lashing out at people for any reason. I don't know. And I bet you none of you have either, really. It's kind of an odd thing, phenomenon, really. Okay. I guess this might be a little heavy for Mr. Cowboy at this distance, but it's not for the propane tank. I killed him. Oh, don't roll down the hill. I can't load fast enough. Oh, where's a bullet? Oh, get him before he gets away. Oh, he's out of sight. Oh no, I see him. I got him. I got him, and he actually rolled a little further because I hit him. You probably can't see him. Maybe you can. Yeah, he went out of sight, but he was still moving. Hot dog. That's why you never give up. See, I got in a hurry and I dropped that round, which I'll find here in a minute. I grabbed another box and loaded and got him. I plugged him on the roll. All right. It doesn't take much to fascinate me, right? Didn't expect to have a moving target today. So all right, anything I have forgotten that I really did need to share with you? I guess not. It's too late to remind you about the NRA meeting. You either went or you didn't. And again, I'm not recruiting for the NRA. I'm just kind of recruiting for going to see the exhibits, as I've done for decades. You know, it's the greatest gun show around. If you're there, yeah. Share if you were there. Share with people in the comments about what a great gun show it is. You know, I think a lot of people just don't know about it. They still, although there's what 70,000 people show up at it or something, but I can imagine there's still a lot of people. Maybe they don't watch a lot of gun videos, but they're into firearms, and they haven't heard me talk about it. Don't realize what a gun show it is, and people who are possibly a little, I don't know, frustrated is too strong a word, I guess, but when you go into a gun shop or even a gun show, you can't always get to handle maybe the firearms you'd like to handle. Maybe you're young and you're afraid to ask or something, or you can't cock it, or mess with it, pull the triggers and those sorts of things generally. And so that's one of the beauties of this. You can go to the Smith & Wesson booth, or like I say, the Ruger, or anywhere. And when I say booth, I use that term a lot, lightly. It's as big as your house, probably, the booth. Even if you have a nice big house, it might be. And they basically have all their models there. Whether it's Birdie or whoever it is, car, you name it. And you can just pick them up, work the action, cock them, and snap them. They've got all the firing pins out. And they want you to do that. I mean, that's the intention. And so it feels kind of weird. It's like playing with matches somewhere where you're not supposed to play with matches, And so, yeah, well, of course, just after the fact now I'm talking to you about it. But you folks that were there, maybe share with folks that, what they're missing, when everyone comes to your town or near you, it's worth going to. Again, I guess you have to, I should know this, I think you do have to join. So it depends on how you look at it. Again, if you're not a diehard NRA supporter, you look at it as $35 or whatever it is to go to the greatest gun show in the country or something, however you want to look at that, I don't know. Or just don't go and go to another gun show. Go to Tulsa. You can't snap and do all the stuff with the guns and all the manufacturers are not there. That's a great gun show too, though. I would, in some ways, I would say Tulsa is the #1 gun show in the country. There may be some others I'm not aware of, but in other ways, the NRA show is the best gun show. It's just that they're different. At the NRA, you can't buy a gun, that kind of thing. Whereas at the Tulsa gun show, it's huge, massive, and it's vendors. I mean, you can buy any gun there if you want to, and a lot of them you can take home. If you live in Oklahoma, you take any of them home. And if it's a long gun, you could take it home almost anywhere you're going, I guess. There are some states you couldn't, I guess. So anyway, enough talk on gun shows. Why would I be talking about gun shows and such? Well, because I'm a gun nut, right? Let's load this 10-round magazine again. And then before I make you leave, take a few more shots with this 48, Glock 48. Again, it's same grip frame as the Glock 43X, if you're familiar with that. And but it's got the longer barrel. I could take your Glock 43, if you have a Glock 43 or 43X, I could take your slide and put it on this one. It's the same thing. Except, in fact, I did a little of that, mix and match, back a few years ago. So pretty versatile. It's kind of like the Glock 40 7, is that the one? Yeah, that you can, if you got a 47 and a Gen 5 Glock 19 or whatever, you can make yourself a firearm with the big grip or the shorter grip and the shorter frame, shorter slide and the longer slide, whatever configuration you want. All right, some of you are getting sick, all this Glock talk, right? Oh, I don't know how many I have in there, but we'll shoot them all. Right, cowboy? Nice little pistol. Nice little pistol. If you're not familiar with it, might be one you might want to consider someday. Who knows? So, I will let you go. I've bent your ear enough. I've enjoyed shooting on this pretty nice day. It's a little warm, actually. I'm glad to be able to say that. If you hear me complaining about it being too warm, yeah, I might be telling you the truth, but I really would rather it be too warm than too cold. Yep, that's what I would prefer. I'm glad to see these trees coming out. Yeah, they're really getting green. Getting green. Isn't it amazing the difference? If you live in Arizona or Nevada, you're just not used to this much change, I guess, through the seasons, right? But this part of the world, east of the Mississippi and around, it does this every year for some reason. Except maybe in South Florida, you don't get this right. But yeah, it's just remarkable, the difference. It's incredible, really. I see it and experience it firsthand because I live in the woods. And in the wintertime, I give up some of my privacy, although with my bamboo and everything, not so much anymore. But still, yeah, it's not quite the privacy from the road in a couple of spots. But in the summer, it's like I'm living in the middle of 1,000 acres somewhere, except for being able to hear, cars, that kind of thing. So I always look forward to the leaves leaving out. Yeah, and have a lot of cool trees. Most of all these you see over here, I've let grow. A lot of poplars, tulip poplars, the Tennessee tree, and a lot of oaks, a lot of hickory, and some ash trees, and some beech, several beech trees in here. Some gum. What else do I have? They're fairly common. No locusts. Interesting. I grew up in an area in northern Kentucky where there were a lot of locust trees, and I know people use them for fence posts. They're kind of like cedar. They hold up for a long time, and I don't know if there's anywhere in Tennessee where those things exist. Isn't that weird? No locust trees down here. So I think you're all dying to know about that. So I'm going to let you go. I appreciate you coming out. And again, the folks I met this past week and that I have met at the NRA meeting or on the trip down and back, it's good to meet you. And yeah, I mean, I'll go out on a limb and assume it was good to meet you. Okay, because it normally is. Whether it's good for you to meet me, I don't know. I try not to be rude or mean. I try to be nice. It's not easy, but I try to. Yeah. So anyway, I will talk to you all next week. And again, by the time you see this, I'm back. You just don't know it yet. Yeah. Life is good.